Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Bernie with CG Spectrum. Happy Monday. How's everyone doing? I am doing okay, other than that my AC went down. Was it yesterday? I think it was yesterday. It feels like it's been several days because it's super hot here. Yeah, so it's even tough to get someone out here to check out my AC because everyone in California is probably having air conditioning problems right now. But just before the stream, I was able to contact someone to come out later today, so I'm happy about that. Yeah, you can't live without AC around here. Hey, what's up, Glitter? Oops. Yeah, give me a second. I'm trying to choose. Alright. My twin brother also came down to LA to visit over the weekend, or over the week actually. And we hung out and had fun as well. He just left LA. Yeah, other than that, I don't think I did anything different. Any of you guys do anything cool today? Or over the weekend? Hey, Lamar. Oh yeah, you're from Cali too? What part of California, Lamar? But yeah, today we're going to continue with this. Again, this is my kid's design over here in the top left. And I'm using his design as inspiration and reposing it and playing with it here, making the details and everything more believable. So I'm going to continue with that. And once again, the point of this is to show that you can use any design and find inspiration out of it and make it work, you know? You could, so for example, if you had a somewhat messy or sketchy thumbnail in your sketchbook, or a art director does a ugly sketch for you and says do that, you know, it's good practice to make any design look cool, or try to make it cooler. That's what we're trying here. All right. Oh, you're from San Francisco, Bay Area, Lamar? Yeah, my twin brother that I just mentioned is from Berkeley. So similar area, huh? Yeah, he's lived there for, man, over 20 years it must be. He went to UC Berkeley and then he just stayed up there ever since. And he just comes down to visit. Yeah, he loves it up there. And for you guys, you don't even need a AC. It's pretty cool up there right now. That's what I heard. You're like wearing a hoodie, right? Yeah, the weather up there is awesome. It never gets too hot. It's sunny, so you get the warmth of the sun, but yeah, it's still pretty warm, I guess, but not super hot, which is perfect. I guess that's why so many people like living up there. I mean, I like it up there as well. The food is there. I mean, I lived there for about 6 months before, like not too long ago. I lived in Alameda. You know Alameda, right? That little, it's like a man-made island. But anyways, yeah, like it was all cool. Like I like the weather there. It's awesome. Food there's awesome. It's just too expensive. And not only that, it's like whenever you're looking, so I have kids, right? So whenever I was looking to get my kids in a private school or something like daycare or something like that, right? Or like some kind of after school program that had good reviews, it was unavailable. None of them were available because they're just, you know, everyone's trying to get in, right? So you just can't, like, there's limited resources is what it is. There's a lot of people and limited resources. So that part was frustrating for me when I was up there. Anyways, I'm back down in LA. Moved back down because my previous company actually moved from Brisbane, you know, South San Francisco area. We moved from there to Pasadena in LA actually. So that's why I decided to move back down. I mean, I kind of convinced them to move down here. Well, a bunch of us did, but that's over with now. Yeah. Hey, what's up, Jessica? Oh, you're a twin too? Cool. Are you fraternal twins or identical? Hey, what's up, Pietro? I know inland, Lamar, it's hotter, right? Like, I had a friend who lived, dang it, what was it called? Lafayette? Is that what it's called? Around like Diablo Valley or whatever, more inland. I heard it's a lot warmer there, but yeah. Make this hand bigger. Do you guys use the warp tool a lot? I use it all the time. Maybe a little too much because I mean, that might indicate that I have issues drawing more accurately from the get-go. And I'm just trying to fix it later. By the way, Jessica, I know you want to ask some questions, so go right ahead whenever you're ready. And I'll just answer them as I'm drawing. Any of you guys too, if any of you have random questions you want to ask, always feel free to just ask at any time. What? Jessica says she's a triplet. So she has a brother and a sister. Wow. That's awesome. So you guys are obviously, or actually it's not obvious. I'm assuming you guys are all fraternal, right? So you guys aren't, none of you guys are identical. That's what I'm assuming. I guess it's possible that one of you can be identical and the other fraternal, right? That's possible as well. But yeah, that's funny. That's so cool. Who are you closer to, your brother or your sister? Jessica? Lamar asks, did you start with the silhouette first? Did I? Let me double... You know what? I think I did. I did a rough silhouette, and then I drew on top of it. Yeah. But again, my silhouette was not perfect. It was all like pretty rough, so... it was just... I just had the silhouette just to get me started. And then I drew on top of it to refine it a bit. I do both. Sometimes I'll do the silhouette first and then draw on top, and then sometimes I'll sketch a line drawing in first and then lay in the silhouette on a multiply or under the drawing. It just kind of just depends on how I feel, I guess. I go by my feelings. I know this one has 3 fingers and the other has 4. I'm trying to decide. I think I'll just go for 3 fingers. It looks more alien-like, I guess. And there's already enough spiky things up here that look like fingers or whatever. Same shape as fingers, so maybe there's no reason to add more. So I'll reduce it. 3. Over the weekend, I also met with a group of friends of mine from church that I haven't seen in a long time, over a year now. And man, some of them aged a lot. I was surprised, honestly. I don't know what happened, but you know how with kids, if you don't see kids for a while, like if you have nieces or nephews, and then all of a sudden, like you see them a year later or even like 3 months later and they look completely different, right? Because they grew so much. It was like that in the opposite way for my friends who are older. I'm like, dang, what happened to you? You look like you aged like 5 years in 1 year. And they're like, ditto. You look the same. You look like you aged too. We got COVID years. COVID aged us quick. But yeah, honestly, like, I think it's like when you hit a certain age, so most of them are, well, they're all over 40. So some of them are getting close to 50. So I think after a certain age, I think it's basically over 40. Like you start just aging real fast at a certain point over 40. Anyways, it was a bit of a shock to me still to see how much they aged the past year or so. They're like, look in the mirror. Anyways. Yeah, I need to exercise more. I've been so busy, I've been neglecting exercising. And for me, like when I exercise is when I become more health conscious in terms of like what I eat. It all goes hand in hand with me. So I gotta get back into that. Right now I'm just eating whatever I want basically. Because I'm not really exercising. I might like exercise once a week if I'm lucky. Which is not good. And then I hear about like the other thing, you know, when you know you're really old or you're getting you're in your middle age is when you start asking your friends about their health. How you doing? How's your health? That's when you know you're old. Young people don't ask that kind of stuff, do they? I don't remember ever asking those kind of questions. Anyways, let me go back and read some comments. Pietro is asking, says, I have a question. Hand-painted 3D models are a thing that I want to get into soon enough, but I know basically nothing about digital painting. What would you suggest for an effective approach? So you're talking about painting over 3D models. What would I suggest for an effective approach? To be honest, Pietro, I'm not the best person to ask. There's people that do what you're talking about for a living, right? Where they use 3D models, they use photos and photo mock-up, collage it, and then paint over different for concepts and things like that. Again, I don't want to mislead you because I only know like a couple ways of doing it. I've painted over 3D models before in the past, but again, I'm just, it's not what I normally do, right? So what I do is probably not the best thing. I mean, I do simple stuff. It's just adjusting the values of the 3D model, making sure like all the lighting direction is consistent. Like if I'm putting in photos on top of the 3D model, making sure the hues all match up, right? Using multiply, using just this typical like layers like overlay, things like that to adjust lighting and the darks and shadows, right? It's typical stuff, nothing special. What I would suggest to you is to just look up, you search on YouTube or Google search like people who do that. There's plenty of people that do that these days. So yeah, sorry I can't really give you a good answer, but yeah, just Google search it. But I think those are great ideas. I mean, I believe more and more concept artists are going to be doing that, where they're painting over 3D models and obviously photos and things like that. So it's a good idea that you try. Hey, what's up, Julian? Jessica says she's I'm closer to my sister, and yes, we are fraternal. My brother is actually like 6 feet tall and my sis is 5 feet tall. And I'm somewhere in the middle. We are all pretty different in personality too. That's cool. I'm doing good, Julian. Just busy as usual, and I was just telling people earlier that my AC went down. It's not working properly. Just not, anyone familiar with ACs? Maybe you guys could help me. It's like the cold air is not coming out. The fan and everything works. Like the condenser outside is, you know, the fan outside is working. The indoor fan, like the vents are working, but it's just not cold. It's just like neutral air. So I'm like, what the hell's going on? Anyways, so that other than that, I'm fine. Yeah. Oh, Jessica's asking, are you and your twin similar? We have similarities, but we're fraternal as well, and when people see us and meet us, they don't think we're twins. They think we're very different. But the way we're similar is, the way we joke around is similar. The way we kind of think is similar, I guess. We play off of each other a lot. And we'll say the same words or sentences, like, we're like thinking the same thing at the same time, basically. And sometimes we say the same things at the same time. So in that sense, we're similar. We're both creative. He's creative too. He might have done art if it weren't for me. Meaning, like, I think he felt... He'll probably agree with this. He felt like I was already better than him, so he didn't want to compete. He kind of had that kind of mentality, I think. Yeah. Oh, Julian, what is neurodermite? I'm not even gonna try to pronounce that. What is that? Is that a brain thing? That sounds like a brain thing. Pietro's asking, I'm talking more like WoW, League of Legends type of 3D model where you use mainly base color and paint over it. See, sorry, I haven't seen people painting over a 3D model with WoW or League of Legends. Sorry, I haven't seen that. So I can't, again, I'm not the best person to ask. Again, if I had to do it right now, I would just, my approach would be adjust the 3D models values using levels, right? So that I prepare it to make it easier to paint over where the darks are not too dark, right? And then I would use multiply. I guess I would colorize the base layer. So if it's a black and white model, right? I would colorize it. So let's say it looks like this, right? This is the model, let's say. I would colorize it. Go into hue saturation, click this check mark right here on colorize. And then, you know, you could change the colors to the base color that you want. Change the lighting if you want to. And then at least all your black and whites are gone now, right? So you avoid your colors getting muddy. That's the main thing. I see a lot of people coloring over a black and white concept, and their colors look super muddy. It's because their base is, they're just painting over black and white. So obviously that black and white is going to show through. So what I do is I colorize it. So it becomes a color and you get rid of the black and white and use that as a base to paint over, okay? Jessica's asking. Okay, so yeah, you checked out the last stream. Cool. I'm glad it was helpful. Okay. Yeah, if you have any more specific questions about the art style, just ask. Or if you want me to elaborate on certain questions that I did answer last week, again, just ask. I'll be happy to answer the question again. I'm not doing anything here, right? I'm just drawing, so just ask anything. Or if anything wasn't clear, yeah. Julian says, oh, I was wrong. So I thought it was a mind thing, brain thing, but neurodermitis or whatever is, Julian says it's a skin illness that makes your skin tickle as hell and dry over time. Sometimes more and sometimes less. Oh, sorry, that sucks. Interesting. How do you get that? Like, is that a, do they know how you got it? Do you know how you got it? Or are you just born with it? Like, how does that work? I hate it when my skin itches. I told you guys, I think, before that I got bit by a tick not too long ago. And, man, I had an allergic reaction to it, and I had rashes like all over. And it was like really bad rashes. It's not like normal rashes, but it's the rash that like gets all bubbly. Like there's like blistery rashes all over. It was horrible. And it felt like the itchiness was like not on the surface. It was like deep within, you know what I mean? That's like the worst, where it's not just on the surface, but it's like deep in your skin somewhere. And it lasted for, man, weeks. Several weeks. Until I took antibiotics. And part of me, maybe it's like a mental thing, but I think I still have it. Like I read up on Lyme disease or different types of diseases you can get from ticks. But I think I still have something in my body because it flares up once in a while. I'll get like itchiness, like in the same areas that I had when I had the tick bite. And it's not like I got bit by a bug or anything. I didn't even go outside and it flares up. It's weird. Anyways. My whole body's probably infested. That's gross. Lamar's asking, what do you do to get clean line work? Normally I lower opacity on my base sketch and draw over that on a new layer. I do the same thing, Lamar. I honestly, like, I keep things so simple. Same thing. I lower the opacity and I redraw it. Sometimes I'll redraw it twice if I have to. If it's like a complicated drawing, I'll have to redraw it twice. There's a lot of layering and design work that I have to figure out. Julian says you get the skin disease or whatever that is from your parents mostly. So it's from birth. Oh boy. Yeah, genetics, man. It's real. Like, I have weird things that I got from my parents too. I mean, it's not, I don't think it's not a disease, I guess, but it's a little embarrassing to talk about, but like my toenails are weird, dude. My toenails, like, you know how, even my fingernails actually, you know how most people's fingernails, let's just say, go down, like they go down, you know what I mean? Over your fingertips, they'll go down slightly. They curve down this way, right? But then my fingernails and toenails, they flare up, right? So why? I don't know. How does that make sense? Like, why should my fingernails go up? It doesn't, because imagine what would happen, right? If your fingernails and toenails flare up. That means your toes are your fingernails are gonna break easily, right? Because it could get caught on things. Your toenails could like get flipped easily, which happens to me. That's why I gotta always cut my nails often so that they don't get long enough where they could flip. All this dirt gets stuck. You know, you guys know I like gardening if you've been watching this stream for a long time. I like gardening a lot, so, but I get dirt under my nails all the time, like so easily, because they're flaring up. Anyways, what else? Oh yeah, another thing that I hate about my genetics is again, this is kind of embarrassing, but still. So I've always had problems with my teeth, right? All sorts of problems with my teeth. Like my teeth just suck. Like they're weak. Like I think the enamel on it is not, again, genetically weak. So I had like basically cavities on every tooth, like 1 or 2 cavities on every tooth. And I floss like, well, this is my fault when I was a kid. I guess I didn't floss when I was a kid, but as an adult, I floss like, you know, twice a day, 1 to 2 times a day. And I even have that water floss thing that I use every time after I eat. But anyways, regardless of me doing all that, right, I still have gum issues, like where my gums recede, right, from my teeth. These are old people problems, but I always had the issue actually, but it's just getting worse as they get older. And I asked my dentist, like, is there something wrong? And she's like, nope, it looks like you floss all the time, which I do. And she's like, it's not gingivitis. She says it's just genetics. Like, it's just genetics. And it's true. Like, I see my dad's teeth is all jacked up. I saw my grandpa's teeth, it was all jacked up. So I'm like, dude, I guess I can't do anything about it. So, you know, I guess that's just life. We live with certain issues. It kind of sucks, though. So, Julian, yeah, hang in there with your issues. Julian says, my mom had like sun allergy and my grandmother something similar, so I was lucky. Yeah, I heard about people who are super sensitive to sunlight, right? They like their whole body, like their skin swells up or gets rashes or something, like when they're out in the sun for just even a little bit. That sucks. Hey, what's up, Vucky? Interesting. First time seeing you here. No, Lamar, you're good. You're good. I think that's... we're both doing the sketches wrong, like cleaning them up, or we're both good. Oh yeah, sorry. The resolution sucks on the on my camera on the stream for some reason. I'm not sure why. It's a new cam. It should... I think I did the settings wrong. Sorry. I don't think you want to see the fingernails. They look kind of weird. I mean, actually, my fingernails look okay, but it's my toenails that look weird. I look like Smeagol, you know Smeagol from Lord of the Rings? That's what my toes look like. So at one point, like, I was kind of self-conscious about my feet because people would, like, my coworkers would make fun of my feet. Because I make fun of them too, so it's not a problem. But, yeah, one of my coworkers, he would make fun of my feet and my teeth, actually. But anyways, at a certain point, I was like, F it, forget it. I don't care anymore. So the older you get, you just don't care anymore. That's what it is, I think. Fuzzball, how's Fuzzball doing? Fuzzball's good. All the chickens are getting bigger and bigger and bigger every day. I mean, yeah, every other day I check on them, I'm like, wow, they got big. Anyways, let's go back to Jessica. She's saying you had mentioned art tests. I feel like I've heard about those, but don't really know much about them. Are they only offered by companies that have an interest in you, or can you ask for one? Yeah, so I guess you could always ask for one, but generally they're given to you only if they see potential in you. Yeah. Because you know, whoever is giving you the art test, it becomes more work for them. People are already extremely busy at any like game company, you know what I mean? For the most part. They're super busy. They don't really have time to do additional things. So if they are giving you an art test, it's because they feel like, especially, let me clarify that. If you're applying to a larger game company or a well-known game company, yeah, they're not going to give you an art test unless they see potential. If you're applying to like some unknown game company, right, and they're like maybe 2 people working there, right, in their garage, right, then they might just give you an art test just for the fun of it, right, just to see, because they got nothing to lose from it. But again, if it's like a decent sized game company or even a small mobile game company, they're not going to waste their time giving you an art test, because again, they have to review it, and they don't need that additional work. So yeah, does that answer your question, Jessica? If a way of doing an art test that you can do on your own without asking for one or getting one is basically just doing fan art. Doing the fan art is an art test, right? If you can create something, a character, let's say for example, that fits into the world of the game that they're working on or that they've released, right? Then that's the art test. The art test is if you can match their style, if you can bring up the quality of your artwork to their level of concept art that they currently have, let's say on their website, then why wouldn't they hire you, right? As long as there's an opening, they would definitely consider hiring you. It's never easy to find people who can meet a high quality standard and have good design sense and can match the company's art style. That's super hard to do. Even now, we're looking at, like at my company, we're looking to hire people. It's been several weeks now, and I think I've rejected every person's work that I've seen that they sent over to me. Yeah, it's not easy to find someone like that. And even at Blizzard, I know I have a handful of friends that want to work at Blizzard, and they've been trying for years, but the main reason why they don't get in is because of the style. They can't match the style. And I'm talking about like concept art and 3D. Yeah, I guess with 3D it's even more important that they're able to match the style. Because that's obviously the final artwork that someone's going to be looking at when they're playing the game. But nowadays, like I've said in previous streams, nowadays a lot of game companies are outsourcing their 3D artwork. So it's become more and more important that the 2D art really matches up with the final as well. They're much more pickier nowadays about concept art matching the style, because when they outsource it, sometimes they're outsourcing it to, or oftentimes they are outsourcing to a company where their English is not the first language. So instead of trying to explain every detail verbally, you just tell them to copy it one to one. Say, take this, translate that into 3D 1-to-1, right? So don't have your 3D artist reinterpret the concept or use it as inspiration, but just copy it 1-to-1. Does that make sense? That's why the style is becoming more and more important these days for some I would say most game companies, which is honestly not fun for the concept artist, because then you don't have that freedom and the range to explore, like have a different style like I did at Blizzard. Like a lot of the artists there had different styles. It's still within the Blizzard style, artists with different style ranges, right? Which I thought was cool, and it's always inspirational to see like different styles, right? But yeah, so it's not as fun if you have to match specifically a certain style of art, like very, very closely is what I mean. But that's becoming more and more important, that's what I'm saying. Lamar says Blizzard's art style is really cool. It's something I want to emulate myself. Speaking of which, did you find it hard to pin down a certain art style in the beginning? I think I'm trying to remember. I don't think I had an issue actually with the art style at Blizzard. I think naturally I already drew like that because I played Warcraft, Starcraft, Diablo. I think I played all the Blizzard games before I even joined WoW. So I was very familiar with that style, and that's the style that I actually liked naturally, like a little bit more exaggerated. Yeah, I didn't have to adjust too much. I remember what I did have to adjust to was, I think it is stylizing it even more, like making sure the shoulders are bigger, you know, chunkier. Everything's a little bit chunkier than you're comfortable with naturally. Making sure you see the shape language, like you play with the shape language a bit more, exaggerate the shapes a little bit more. So I think that's the thing that I did, but it came naturally for me, at least, I would say. Yeah. But then I did have a hard time adjusting to like a more realistic style, like later when I worked for a different game company, and we were working on something more realistic. Then I had some issues because I was so used to stylizing things, and when I would try to do more realistic imagery, I thought it looked realistic, but it wasn't, because it's just more realistic than what I was used to doing, but it wasn't realistic enough, so there's issues there. Yeah. Yeah, I can't draw and talk at the same time, sorry. Jessica, didn't you say that you knew people at Blizzard, or did you say that you were talking to people at Blizzard? Which one was it? And if you are talking to people at Blizzard, who are you talking to? Like which department? People in what kind of positions? Like, are they concept artists? That leg looks gross. You should always be your greatest critic, to be honest. At the same time, don't be hard on yourself. There's like, I don't know if you guys could understand the difference. Hopefully you do. Be your greatest critic in the sense that, you know, you're trying to always improve like what you have, you know? You don't have to wait for someone to tell you what's wrong with it, or what you can improve on it. But you're the one who's always telling yourself what you can do better, what you can try different, right? To at least try to make things better, right? Without just settling on something. Cause like I know this looks ugly, but I also know I'm not gonna give up on it. Or meaning maybe I will give up on it at a certain point. But what I know is that I'm gonna try to make it better, at least, is what I'm saying. I know I'm gonna try at least to make it better than what I currently have. Yeah, so that's really a healthier mentality that people should have is, yeah, don't say, hey, I'm happy with this, right? And like lie to yourself, right? There's always room for improvement, and that's what you're trying to think of. Like, what can I do to make it better? And at the same time, like I said, there's also artists that like are so hard on themselves, right? Where they're like, this is horrible and I hate myself and I'm never gonna draw again. I should quit right now, right? That's also like an extreme mindset that's wrong, you know? Or it's incorrect. I mean, you're not trying to be perfect. There is no perfection, right? To try to be perfect or try to do something like in the best way possible doesn't exist. We're just trying to make things better. We're just trying to learn, right? That's how you guys should think, I think. Is just make things better. Hopefully that makes sense. Don't be too hard on yourself. But be critical. Okay, this is what it is. Sorry. Don't be hard on yourself as a person, but be hard on your artwork, right? That's what the distinction is. Don't beat yourself up. Beat your artwork up. Does that make sense? I know for most people or some people, it's like mixed, right? It's hard to distinguish the two, but I think it's so important that you do. Don't put your identity in your art. Make it so you can beat up your artwork, but not yourself. You know what I mean? Don't beat yourself up. Beat your artwork up. I can say my artwork sucks, but that doesn't mean you suck, you know? Because I see so many artists like being so hard on themselves, beating themselves up, that they get discouraged. And it's sad to see that, to be honest. Anyways, let's go back to the questions. Got distracted there. Jessica says, okay, makes sense. I've been starting to learn Blender the last few weeks and it's been really fun. Although, do you recommend learning industry standard programs like ZBrush or Maya? It honestly depends on you, the artist, right? Like what you're interested in. For me, personally, I don't think I would do any 3D stuff, me personally, because I just don't have any interest in it at this point. It doesn't fit the way I want to work. That just might be the case because I'm older and I started in a different way, right? So take with what I'm saying with a grain of salt. It just doesn't fit me. And I have no interest in it. If I don't have interest in it, I'm not going to learn it. And it's not because I'm lazy, because I'm not. So for me, I just want to focus on things that make me excited, things that interest me, because that's what's going to motivate me to work harder, right? I'm not going to be motivated if I'm working on stuff I don't like working on. You know what I mean? But in general, just speaking in general about the industry, yes, working on programs like ZBrush, Blender, all those things are tools that are going to give you more opportunities in general, possibly make your artwork more efficient, like, you know, make it faster for you to produce concept art. It's just another tool, in my opinion, right? Yeah, so if it works for you, sure, that's great. Again, in general, I know a lot of environment concept artists that use Blender and ZBrush and all that. And for them, especially when they're doing like more realistic imagery, it helps them a lot. It makes them super, super efficient. Like something that used to take many weeks to do can take them just, I don't know, like 3 to 5 days to finish now because of the way they photocomp and photo bash and use 3D assets. It cuts their time in like into a third of what they used to do it. Maybe even less than a third. It's crazy how much work they could churn out these days. Even for character art, I've seen people that use that photo bash and use 3D assets to paint over. Again, I think it's more on the realistic side that it works for. Concept art that's more realistic, right? It's easier to do because it's just easier to find assets that are more on the realistic side, right? Texture-wise and things like that. So hopefully that makes sense. But it's not a necessity if that's what you're asking. Not at this point. It is not a necessity. Some people will disagree with me. There's people that that'll say, no, this is the future, you have to learn 3D, blah blah blah. Again, I don't disagree that we're going towards that direction. It's just that, is it a necessity for everyone? No, I don't believe that either. Julian's asking if I have an ArtStation portfolio. I do, but there's only like 2 pictures on it, I think. Just search it, just Bernie Kang ArtStation. But yeah, there's only like 2 pictures on it because I was like, I think I was working on it at one point and then I got a job, so I quit working on it. I have a Carbon made, but I think it's password protected right now. It's Carbon made and search Bernie Kang Carbon made, but yeah, there's a password on it. Sorry, I'll bring it down later. Just been busy. Jessica says, yeah, I enjoy Blender more than the other 2. It just comes a little more natural to me. Cool. I mean, again, if you guys are into like 3D stuff, that's great. I mean, I wish I was more into it. I think I just don't have the time to concentrate on it right now. But I think it's great if you can learn how to do it. Yeah, I'll be right back. Give me a minute. I'll be right back. Oh, by the way, give me a like on this video. I'd appreciate it. Thanks. Alright, I'm back. Thanks for waiting. Jessica says, yeah, I had a friend who knew someone who did graphic design there, and after a call with him, he got me in touch with a senior concept artist who brought another concept artist guy on the call too. Yeah, the guys from Blizzard strongly encourage learning 3D, but I like hearing different opinions. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, I know that at Blizzard they do have some concept artists that are fully 3D, so they concept in 3D. I don't think they have many of them yet, but they have a few. Yeah. But again, I think the more important thing is understanding yourself as an artist, right? Or as a person or artist, whatever, same thing, right? To know what will fit you, like long term, right? Don't just like go where the wave pushes you, you know what I mean? Don't go where the wind just blows, right? Understand like how you're built, right? And then go from there. You know what I mean? Hopefully that makes sense. That's a life lesson. Not just an art lesson. That's a life lesson. Don't go where the wind blows, where people tell you to do this or that. Yeah. You have to look at yourself, know how you're made, and do what you think you're made to do. You know what I mean? That's a long-term thing that will work better for you in general, whatever you're doing. I've talked to so many people who are like, oh, I did this because my parents said I should try this, or my friend said I'm good at this, or you know what I mean? Like somebody told me this. No, don't do what somebody told you. You should definitely consider what people say, but ultimately you got to understand what you know what I mean? No one knows you better than yourself sometimes. I guess your parents sometimes know you better than yourself. Unfortunately, it's true sometimes, not all the time. But yeah. Parents don't know everything. Even though we wish. Anyways, I'm going super slow on this guy. Oh. Julian's asking, do you have an iPad or iPhone? If so, try out the app called Nomad. It's a 3D sculpting app just to play around with it a bit. Awesome. I'll check it out. I'll write a note to myself. Cool. Thanks for the information, Julian. So any other questions, Jessica? And when I get stuck like this in an art piece where, you know, for whatever reason, I feel like I'm not going anywhere with it. In this case, it's clearly because I'm trying to draw and paint while I'm doing a stream, or I'm talking, right? That's what it really is. Like, I need to really concentrate. If I don't concentrate, my brain's like all over the place. I don't even know what I'm doing. But anyways, when I get stuck like this, sometimes like I have to force myself to move forward. Like even when I don't feel like I'm ready, I'm just gonna like leap to the next stage. Just to, again, I know it's not going to be perfect, but it's forcing myself to go to the next stage and then fix the issues that I have later. Because if I don't do that, I'm just going to be noodling this thing forever. And sometimes the things I think are problems or things I need to resolve are not actually a big deal in hindsight. You know what I mean? Anyways, yeah, let's push this forward. I'm gonna cut this out because all my layers are messed up. And I'm just gonna cut them out. Oopsie. Yeah, so this stage is actually pretty important if you messed up your layers and you're just trying to clean it up and separate the character from the background. It's actually quite important, so take your time to make the silhouette look good. I am going to kind of rush it here, but definitely take your time so that the next steps become much more easy. Jessica's saying, yeah, for my last term in advanced illustration, I wanted to create a continuous project inspired by WoW, like make some props, characters, and illustrations. Should I create assets for a specific place in the game that already exists, or come up with something totally new that could fit in that world? Kind of like that art test you were saying about fan art. Should I create assets for a specific place in the game that already exists? Yeah, so this is what I would do if I were you. If it depends on how familiar or comfortable you are with the World of Warcraft style, right? If you feel very comfortable, then you could do something totally new, right? If you don't feel comfortable, then I would not do something totally new because most likely it's going to turn out bad. You know what I mean? You're stretching yourself too thin then. You're not setting up yourself for success in that situation. So if you don't feel 100% familiar and comfortable with the style, then I would just do something that that already exists. Yeah, just create assets for a specific place in the game that already exists. That's what I would do. Or, like, for example, if you're doing characters, I would choose a character that already exists in the game and then redesign it slightly, or put your own little twist to it. Don't change it so much that it doesn't look like the character anymore, right? But just put your own little twist to it, whatever that is. Yeah. Yeah. And again, if you feel very like you don't feel comfortable at all with the style, but you want to explore it, I would just say just do a straight up copy first of whatever like again, for example, like let's say you're doing the blood elf like environment, right? Do a straight up copy of it first before you try to do something do something different, right? Because if you really want to master that style, that's the process you have to take. You're not just going to skip levels, right? It doesn't work that way. It's going to be again a bad result, to be honest. You have to do things in steps. So, you know, when you're a kid and you draw like comics, right? You just copy the comics first, right? You're doing that over and over and over and over again until you feel comfortable. And then you could change it up. It's the same idea. You just got to draw whatever's there over and over and over again until you feel comfortable, and then you can start changing things up. Not complicated, right? It just takes a lot of work. That's what it is, to be honest. None of this stuff is complicated, except for sorry, maybe I gotta rephrase that. Usually the problem isn't that something's complicated. Usually the problem is that either people don't go through the right process, which is never fun. The right process is never fun, usually. So people don't do it for that very reason, because it's not fun. But yeah, again, it's just like people asking me, how do I get better at drawing this? Why is my anatomy all off, right? And my character, right? Why is it all off? You know what I mean? Why can't I draw sci-fi stuff? You know what I mean? How do I get better at drawing sci-fi things, hard surface things? The answer is very simple. You just got to do studies. Studies off of figure drawings, study off of hard surface things, right? Anything that's out there, jets, airplanes, trains, cars, whatever you can find, just draw it hundreds of times, right? That's the answer, right? There's no shortcut, to be honest. And people don't want to hear that, though. There are shortcuts to things, but again, that's usually not the problem. The problem isn't that you don't know the shortcut. Shortcuts only help you if you're already drawing hundreds of drawings. Do you get what I'm saying? They don't help somebody who's drawing like 10 drawings. For example, 10 drawings a day. They'll help someone who's drawing hundreds of drawings a day. Because the person just doing 10 drawings a day, it's not going to work anyways. Do you get what I'm saying? Sorry. Hopefully it makes sense what I'm saying. But sure, don't get me wrong, there are smart ways to work. Definitely. Alright. The way I'm working is definitely not the smart way. But you can still get it done. That's the point. You don't always have to do things the smart way either, and you can still make it if you work hard. If that makes sense. Alright. Julian's asking, Do you know any kind of style guide for that WoW style? Maybe the team at Warcraft team had a style guide, but I've never seen one personally because I was on the cinematic team. So I never actually saw a style guide for anything at Blizzard. Again, I'm not saying they didn't have one. I just never seen one. Yeah, which is unusual, I would say, because most game companies do have style guides. So yeah, basically, our style guide was make the shoulders huge. You know what I mean? Give them a huge mustache and beard. For WoW, like, make the colors saturated. Make everything look fun. Chunky, make everything chunkier. You know what I mean? And then the style guide is really other WoW art, basically. That's what it was. I mean, it's not like they're telling you exactly what to do, but you look at other WoW art and, you know, you can figure it out, to be honest. Like the hands were bigger too, right? You look at a dwarf, like the hands are huge, the nose is huge, stuff like that. So like when we're drawing, let's say again, for example, a goblin or something, I would pull up like a bunch of reference on WoW goblins, and they all look a little bit different, but I would pull up a bunch of them, put it on my desktop, and study it basically while I'm working on a goblin concept. Lamar says, I remember when I went to Expression College for my 3D modeling class, I recreated the lighthouse in Ilios from Overwatch, but with my own twist as well. Yeah, that's cool. That's a good idea. The other reason why it's cool to do concept art off of things that already exist, like you know, for a game or whatever, right? A character. It's better or easier to market yourself that way too. You know, so on your website or a portfolio, like people could look at it and identify and relate to it, because it's not just a random like concept art piece that you did, but it relates to something they're already familiar with. Does that make sense? So that's a smarter way to market your portfolio, to get people's attention when they look at your portfolio. It makes people more curious to know how you redesigned a skin for a specific character, right, that exists. How you design an environment differently to a game, again, that exists. Those things make me wonder, oh, I wonder how he or she approached this, right? So it's actually more helpful in that sense, in showing what the artist is capable of doing and what they're thinking when they're concepting out an environment or character for a specific game. Yeah, it becomes much more helpful, at least to me, when I'm viewing people's portfolios. Jessica's asking, when you say copies, are you referring to screenshots from the game or official concept art? I would say, with the copies, I would say official concept art. Like, obviously, like we talked about earlier, there's a range of different concept art styles, right, from Blizzard. So definitely choose the one that you like and then copy that. Don't choose ones you don't like, right? Choose the concept art you like and copy that. Yeah. Or choose the concept art that most fits your natural style. Do you know what I mean? Because you don't really want to do a style that is completely different from what you're doing already. That would be like a big jump, right? Even like, I look at a lot of art and I think it's great, but it doesn't fit me. Does that make sense? I could look at a ton of art that I like, but it's not for me. You know what I mean? Hopefully that makes sense. Julian says, with the shortcuts, I have a perfect experience with it. I created a medieval timbered house, only with brushwork and different orthos. Was hell, but now I know where I can use photo textures as a shortcut. Yeah, for sure. Definitely take shortcuts when you can. It's never cheating. People, I don't know why artists get hung up on stuff like that. Dude, just do anything you can to get good results. I'm not saying steal people's artwork, that's not what I'm saying, but I'm saying whatever process you can take to get a final good result, do it. I don't care like how you got to that point, as long as it looks cool at the end, right? Yep. Like I told you guys, I knew artists at Blizzard that painted with a mouse and it looked amazing. So I don't care like how you do. You could finger paint as long as it looks great. You know what I mean? Julian says, I only know some of the style elements of Dark Souls. Would you say the art style of WoW changed a lot over time? Yeah, it changed. It changed for sure. I mean, I think all the games that they're working on changed style-wise over time. I think it's becoming more realistic. Yeah. I mean, some style guides are stricter than others. Some are super strict, right? And others are a little bit looser. Just depends on the game. All right, where am I going to take this? Let's see. Whoops. I always like starting with the darker base, like I always say. I don't know why, I just do. I think I just, again, I feel like I have more of a value range to play with. And I know people like using darks and then lights onto their base, but I think I like just making my base a little bit darker than usual and just using the lights to lighten it up more than going back and forth with darks and lights, if that makes sense. I think that's why I just keep my base darker. Anyways, let me see, let me think. Again, I'm still trying to decide, do I want to just go straight to color with this guy? Or do something more monochromatic and then add color? Can't decide. I'm gonna just start adding color. Color pick off of my kid's drawing. Oops, I guess that's too dark. Wow. Do that. That's the only blue, huh? Just laying in some colors. Alright, now I'm gonna just paint over all this stuff. Julian, the guy who painted with a mouse, his name is Chris Tunick. Chris, C-H-R-I-S, Tunick. I think you spell it T-H-U-N-I-G. Look him up. He works at Blizzard right now still. He's a Blizzard for life guy. Jessica, yeah, cool. I'm glad I was able to answer most of your questions. Yeah, good luck with your plan on creating portfolio work for Blizzard. Let me know if you have any other questions in the future, okay? Cool. I'm gonna start with the head. Get some inspiration. Like motivation. I start with the head so I could kind of see what it's gonna look like. If it starts looking cool, then I find some motivation to keep going here. Just using color dodge to do the glows. Oops. I'm gonna have the lighting coming from the left, top left. Yeah, Chris is German. He actually, yeah, he's from Germany. Um, he lives in LA area now, though.
Oops.
super saturate it. This is this is the music that the only music that I can use for CG Spectrum streams. Yeah, I like it. I can't even hear it right now, but sometimes when I'm working, I'll listen to it. I like it because it's there's no lyrics for the most part. The lyrics distract me. I get distracted so easily. That's why I can't concentrate on the stream with my art. But yeah, even with music, if there's lyrics to it, I get distracted. So I tend to listen to music without lyrics when I'm working. Hey, Martin. Jessica, by the way, Martin, the Martin Kang you see there, I don't know if you see him on the chat, but that's my twin brother. He has nothing better to do, so he comes on the stream to watch me. I'm just messing around. He's actually probably driving up to, yeah, he's driving up to Berkeley, like I said. He likes hearing my voice. Actually, he likes hearing his own voice because we sound very similar. You wish I paid you. He threatens to dislike me, that's why. I'm just kidding. Julian, the playlist? Let me see. What is this? It's, I forget the name of it. On Spotify, you could search for Harris Heller. It's I'll put it in the chat. HARRIS RRIS. Heller, Heller. Yeah, so you can search that on Spotify. Man, this is going so slow. I want to speed it up. I'm getting sick of this. That's how you know you're a concept artist, when you worked on something for just a few hours and you're already sick of it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use overlay and see if that works. Just to hurry up and light the stuff up a bit faster. I'm getting like fixated on the details for some reason. Again, it's because I'm unable to concentrate, so I'm just doing whatever. So sometimes, yeah, doing like broad strokes with overlay help getting this move forward, getting this to go forward. So let me just try that. He probably can't reply easily, or if he does, he's driving recklessly because he's driving and texting or typing at the same time. So don't expect a reply from him, hopefully. Alright, so using overlay did help me move forward a bit here. I'm going to draw on a normal layer on top of all that now. Actually, I'm going to see if I could intensify what I did on the head a bit more with that overlay before I move forward. To be honest, I feel like I am super rusty with painting right now in general, or any kind of concept art. For my job, really, for the most part, I'm just art directing, so I don't have time to really like render or take concept art to a final like polish anymore. Most of the stuff I do, even if I'm giving direction on concept art, is very rough, or I'm just painting over other people's stuff, right? So that's why I suck right now. It's like anything, right? If you don't use it, you'll lose it. And it's true with obviously art too. Since I haven't been doing it as much, you just feel rusty. Yeah, that's the honest truth. So that's what's even more important for you guys who are up and coming to be doing this stuff all the time. My days are over, you know what I mean? Meaning my concept art ability is probably going downhill. I mean, it is. It's not probably, it is going downhill. For the most part. I mean, there's guys that I work with that do stuff much better than I do. That's why they're doing the final work. I'm just directing, right? They're much faster, much better at doing this kind of stuff now. I'm history. As I'm painting here, I'm getting rid of painting over a lot of my line work. A lot of it's super thick, right? so I'm just painting over it. And you can see I'm adding like texture to the armor as I'm painting. See that? So those are things you could think about too. I don't think I could honestly even get hired as a concept artist anymore. Maybe I can, but it won't be easy is what I'm saying. Sorry, I'm laughing at myself, but it's probably true. It won't be easy if I try. I don't want to be honest, because, you know, I'm just over all that stuff now. I like art directing much better. But yeah, just saying, like, even if I wanted to, it'd be probably difficult. Not easy for sure. At least I wouldn't get paid what I want to get paid. That's the problem, doing concept art. Just trying to get rid of this line, it's too thick. Julian says, don't be hard on yourself, like what you're saying earlier, Bernie. I don't think I'm being like too hard on myself. I think it's just true. Which I'm fine with, to be honest. Like I said, I'm over all that stuff. I don't personally want to go back to what I used to do. It was fun. But yeah, things just change when you're older sometimes. Like what you want to do changes. It was fun while it lasted. But like for me, it felt like over time, I just kept repeating what I was doing. Like it was more of the same stuff, you know what I mean? It got boring. My job right now is definitely not boring. I get bored easily, like you guys know, if you've been following me. I always want to be doing something different that I'm interested in. Anyways, cool. We'll stop here. Sorry I didn't get too far with this again. But yeah, hopefully what we talked about here was interesting. And I hope that you guys had a good week. Have a good week working on your projects. Keep doing your studies. Every day do your studies. Don't stop. You will get better if you keep working, okay? So, Martin, don't type. Drive safe. Let me read the comments real quick. Julian says, could you maybe show the next time how real concept art will look like, because it's never as polished as an illustration, right? Yeah, we could talk about the differences and I could show you the difference. Julian says, would you say getting bored easily is a good thing as a concept artist? Good and bad. I mean, you still got to finish the artwork, right? But yeah, it's definitely a sign that you are more of a concept artist rather than an illustrator. Thanks, guys. Have a great week. I'll see you guys next Monday. Bye.